Hi, Siri. I'm looking for a new podcast, one that preferably is hosted by a UF Hall of Famer, one that airs every weekday that would bring me everything I need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions. Siri, is there such a show?
Have you heard of PodUp with Mathews in the morning on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or any podcast platform?
Oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? UF Hall of Famer Shane Mathews has a show every weekday. I'm gonna go check it out tomorrow. Thanks, Siri.
Good morning. It is a Wednesday edition of PodUp with Mathews in the morning, and it is brought to you by, well, we're coming live from the International Diamond Center studios with locations across the state of Florida and right here in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Today's program will have JC, then we'll have David Waters from Gators Breakdown. Get your questions and comments ready for him. Does a tremendous job covering the Gators. Got a lot to talk about today, believe it or not. Let's go to the Titan Number hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. And our good friends at Comfort Temp are the best in the business. Number one local HVAC company in the area. And our man, Greg Williams, who is the president of the Gator Golf Boosters, actually got a whole new entire unit from our guys at Comfort Temp. And JC, he texted me yesterday. Now, he's not sure if these all the new members came in from the podcast, but they had over $7,000 of new members yesterday. I don't know if it was due to the podcast or what, but we appreciate if you join Gator Golf Boosters. JC Deacon and the boys appreciate it.
Oh, I can't wait to do it. I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that. If certain business opportunities go my way here in the next month with some clients, I am absolutely pulling trigger on an ACE membership. But with that being said, I'm just thrilled. You know, we got some other news about college sports yesterday that really made me feel good inside. And that was what happened at the University of Pennsylvania. I don't know if you're aware of this, but, you know, the guy, Leah Thomas, his records are going to be shut down. The University of Pennsylvania has revoked all of his records. They're going to send an apology letter to the females who he competed against and apologize for taking away their opportunities in their sports, essentially. So I'm very happy.
Do the people that came in second, I don't even know. Did this guy win the event?
Yeah. I mean, whoever this guy beat is going to be sent an apology letter.
Are they going to get the trophy or whatever?
Yeah, that I didn't read, but I will tell you that it is absolutely amazing what federal pressure and a little public memory can do to institutional courage. And all of a sudden, the University of Pennsylvania has decided to do what's right for female sports, women's sports, biological women's sports. Very excited for that, because that trend is just going to go on to the next school and the next school and the next school, because they know what's right. They know what was going on is wrong. And hopefully this issue is going to hopefully be relegated to the dustbin. On the baseball front, QB, this is what I also noticed yesterday. And I know this is not a big deal to you, but man, I'm going straight to the store. I'm not going to wait on 47 to send me the hat, but a Miami Marlins hat is going to be on my head Friday if these guys keep winning. 8 straight wins last night. They beat the Twins. They are one shy of tying a club record in front of a massive 7,000 fans in Miami, Florida last night. That club record for the Marlins was set all the way back in 2008. So they've won 8 in a row. They're going for 9. They had 2 guys last night that have been making noise. Edward Cabrera, 6 strikeouts, 2 hits, 1 walk in 7 innings. He had 21 outs for all of you who had the over 15 and a half outs for him last night, like myself. So congratulations. Great bet there. And he's got 400 strikeouts. So that is very good. I think that's 3rd in terms of the Marlins team records. The guy I'm excited about, and you've heard me mention this guy's name before. I'm going to mention it again for all you Miami Marlin fans out there. Kyle Stowers is a left-handed batter, blonde-haired guy. Absolutely shreds the baseball. He had a home run last night. He was 2 for 4. He's hitting .283, which is pretty good in that lineup when you consider who's in front of him and who's behind him in the batting order. And he's got a .509 slugging percentage. This guy is lighting it up, and nobody knows who he is. And I'm telling you right now, you're going to hear more about this kid, Kyle Stowers. Watch him every night in the box score if you're a Marlins fan. Tonight is Jason Junk. He's 2-0. He's going for the Marlins tonight, and this guy right here will be on the Marlins until they lose. I am riding that. It's like betting on red or black on the roulette wheel. You just love black because it's got 5 in a row, and it really has just as good a chance of hitting 6 in a row as red does coming up.
Yo, green comes up.
And then green comes up. But I'll tell you, this guy, Junk, is pretty good. His 3.73 ERA, not bad. And, listen, good for the Marlins. They're just putting themselves back into a conversation right now because they are tied with the Atlanta Braves in the National League Eastern Division. So I'm just telling you right now, because in a month we're all going to be talking about how great the Marlins have been in the last 60 days. And nobody's talking about them now. I'm talking about them now. You can still get value on them if you bet them. And like I said, Cabrera last night was tremendous. This kid Stowers, take his bases plus 1.5 bases number if you can get it. Take this guy. Take the Marlins, man. They play the Twins again tonight. I don't see why they can't win. And they're on their way to setting a team record for consecutive wins. So that was my big baseball contribution to the show today. And the Astros keep winning. That's the team right there. Once they get Alvarez back in the lineup with that bat, watch out for the Astros. I don't see anyone beating them in the American League. I just think their pitching's too good. This Hunter Brown is the best damn pitcher in the American League, and you'll see. Just keep watching.
I will. Once the playoffs start, I'll find out who he is. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, big win for Riley Gaines in female sport. Riley Gaines is a badass.
She is a badass. And she is just, the Clay Travis show on Outkick has featured her over and over again. They brought this.
She works for them now, doesn't she?
Yes, she does. And he is doing the Lord's work by getting women's sports prioritized now against these very mentally ill people. And I will say that because that's damn sure what it is. So I think it's great that we've got, justice coming to these poor girls who had an opportunity taken away from them because some dude couldn't compete against his fellow dudes. All right. He had to get in there and mix it up with a bunch of girls. What a joke. And so I'm happy about this at Pennsylvania. It's about damn time somebody did something like this.
Baron71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quad Plum, says, QB, do you think we could ever have a yearly PodUp golf tournament going? Proceeds could go to a local charity. I think it's a great idea. The problem with golf tournaments in this area
is golf courses.
It's hard. And golf courses, hard to raise money.
My place here will do it, but I'm sure you're going to have to go through their channel. Well, you will have to go through their.
Well, I don't want to have to do it. If somebody wants to do it, I'll show up. Golf tournaments are hard to put on, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
John's question on YouTube, brought to you by Quad, because I understand that the Dolphins unloaded their big contract of Jalen Ramsey, but why did they bring Minkah Fitzpatrick back when he didn't like his time there before?
Well, a lot of reasons why I think he didn't like his time there before is because I don't think he was happy with his contract, and he bolted as soon as he could and asked to leave. I think now, circumstances could be different for him. I think he's better than Jalen Ramsey as a football player. What do you think, QB?
Well, Minka's a safety. Jalen Ramsey's a corner.
The cornerback. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's true, but Minka will hit you just as hard as a linebacker. And I just think that, I think both teams actually won on that deal. I think it was a win-win for both there, QB.
We got on the Titan of our text line.
I like the Steelers.
It's a long text here. We got multiple things on here, but they wanted me to ask you, JC, what's going on with your Yankees?
Yeah, I'm pissed. So I'm trying to motivate them by showing them that I'm now an Astros fan.
You think they give a damn what you wear?
Yes, absolutely they do, because I've been pulling for them longer than those guys have been alive mostly. They suck, okay? Their problem is Giancarlo Stanton is the most overpaid waste of time that this team has signed in years. Yeah, he's pretty good when he's healthy and he's playing, but when is that? When is that? He's a 40% a year guy, meaning he only plays maybe 4 out of 10 games a year, if that. It's useless money being thrown at a guy that's just too fragile. I don't like their pitching because it's inconsistent. Yeah, that Cole got hurt, understand. But I also am starting to question Aaron Boone and the way he runs the rotation and the way he handles his pitchers throughout a game. Sometimes he's too quick with a hook, whatever. He worries about pitch counts. I'm just, it's the same old excuse. They can't beat the Blue Jays. They rarely beat the Red Sox. And they cannot beat the Houston Astros. And it pisses me off. So I'm going to the other side until I can feel good about my Yankees again, because I can't feel good about them. I hate it. I don't like the Astros. I think that I hate the Astros, but the Astros show me how to win baseball games on a consistent basis year after year after year after year. And they've got a Hall of Famer by the name of Jose Altuve, who has won JC money after dollar after dollar after dollar. All he does is win me money. Why the hell wouldn't I like them? You these days at my age, QB, I like the team that makes me money. That's what I cheer for. Those are the teams that matter to me now. I'm over this rah-rah shit because I've been doing that since 1970, and I like my teams, but I like the teams better that pay me money. I'm sorry if that's a bad attitude, but that's how it is. And by the way, how about the Wimbledon women's division right now? Is anybody watching that? Have you noticed that the number 2 and number 3 seeds on the women's side both lost in the first round?
There were several upsets in Wimbledon.
Jessica Pegula, the billionaire's daughter of the Buffalo Bills, out of there, and Coco Gauff, who won the French Open. She has a lot of trouble on grass, and a Ukrainian woman smacked her around in 2 straight sets yesterday like she didn't even belong there. Yastremska is her name. Yastremska from Ukraine. Just battered Coco on the grass yesterday. Coco's got a French Open, so she's going to be great at the U.S. Open because of the hard court surface there in New York. But grass gives Coco issues, I think. And so watching that yesterday, she was overrun by this Ukrainian. And I think it's kind of good to see some new names in there. But I've got money on Madison Keys, and I've got money on Marketa Vondroshova. So, I think Sabalenka can be had on grass. Vondroshova took her in Britain. In Germany. So I'm just throwing it all out there for you, folks. This is good for you in the summer, man. You need to
Tony wanted me to let you know, JC,
you need to have this going on in your life.
On YouTube. Brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Says our Ukraine money goes to tennis.
Yeah. Well, right now there's not a whole lot of money going over there.
Yeah.
So.
The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try their mango martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, handcrafted with their J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors and find your favorite at shopjfhaydens.com. JC, I got this text yesterday, or maybe it was Monday. It comes from our buddy Monty in Lynchburg, Virginia.
Awesome.
He says, Shane, on Monday, you started a conversation about SEC traditions. One of the most significant ones is the Gator Chomp, which is considered the most iconic cheers in sports. I bring this up to let you know I was the originator of the Chomp.
What?
Here's an article about it, which was written when I lived in Ormond Beach.
Wow.
So I have the whole article here, but I guess I could send it to, I'm going to send it to
He needs to have royalties sent to him. Where does he live again?
Well, he lived in Ormond Beach back in the day when he started this, but he lives in Virginia now. I'm going to send it to Zach. Zach can post it.
I love that he's watching our show from Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I love that, that he is finally telling us where this came from. I thought the Gator Chomp was just something natural that somebody decided, CQB, I'm doing it the right way.
Yes.
So I think it's great.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
All right. So JC, let's get to our This Day in Sports, brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. For over 90 years at Campus USA Credit Union.
I can't believe you don't want to talk about Wimbledon. Go ahead.
I don't. In 2008, a settlement is reached allowing former NBA franchise, the Seattle Supersonics, to move to OKC.
Who was your favorite Seattle Supersonic, QB?
That would be probably Detlef Schrempf.
No, he didn't. He played for the Supersonics.
I think he did. No, he'd be probably the only person I could remember playing for the Supersonics would be Gary Payton and Sean Kemp.
Yeah, how about downtown Freddie Brown and
Who?
downtown Fred Brown alone? And how about Dennis Johnson? The great defender that played for the Celtics and the
I didn't know he played for the Supersonics.
Dennis Johnson won the title with Seattle.
Why did I think did Detlef Schrempf play for
I don't think your boy Schrempf played. I think
Dale Ellis. Dale Ellis is who you're thinking
Dale
of.
Ellis, yes, the long range.
All right, I got to find out if Detlef Schrempf played for them.
Sean Kemp played for him. Hey, man, the Sonics were cool. That's when Seattle was a normal city. It's completely gone to hell. But, yeah, Seattle Super Sonics.
He did.
He did? Okay.
Detlef Schrempf played for him in 1993.
Look up Jack Sikma. Jack Sikma was another player for the Seattle Supersonics.
All right. Well, that's this day in sports, and it's brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. JC, it's time for the Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas. Go check them out at peachlanddental.com.
Oh my God.
We have the John Deere Classic.
Oh my God. Over under is 24.5 is the winning score.
Oh, they're going to destroy this golf.
God, they are going to destroy this golf course. This is, but this is one of those that for some reason, I watch every year. And Zach Johnson is a multiple winner there at this course it's a TPC Deere Run in Illinois. A lot of the guys that we talk about typically in golf are already across the pond getting ready for the Open and getting ready for the Scottish Open.
All right.
So,
well, I finished the highest, so I get first pick.
Okay.
I'm going with the North Carolina Tar Heel, Ben Griffin. He's been good to me for the last 2 months.
Is that guy literally playing every week? Is he going to play every?
Well, he took several years off trying to be sell mortgages.
Mortgages, yeah. I'm glad that didn't work out for him because I like watching him play golf. He's really, really good. That's a good pick, and I mean, it's an obvious kind of pick. These guys, these names, I mean, who the hell knows? I'll go with. I mean, honestly, I haven't looked at this at all, QB. I've been reading about Potgieter, and I've got some things to share about him here in a second. He was last week's winner in Detroit.
Well, he's playing this week.
But he is playing this week? Okay, give it to me.
All right, you want Aldrich?
Well, just his game is fast.
All right, I'm going to take Jake Knapp.
Great pick. Yeah. Guy hits it, just absolutely destroys the golf ball. I'm going to take Jason Day.
Jason Day.
Okay.
All right, we're going to pick 5 golfers. I will take JT Poston.
Okay.
I'm taking all Americans.
Yeah,
it's damn 4th of July weekend.
4th of July, absolutely right.
I'm not taking any foreigners.
Well, I just did, by the way, but that's okay. I'm just trying to win this. I think this is really hard for me. I mean, I'm just throwing names out there. I don't know what kind of value I'm bringing. I haven't handicapped this at all. Didn't look at it. Don't know anything about these names that are playing in it. So I'm just kind of throwing darts right now. That's what we're doing, right, QB? We're throwing darts. So I'll throw a dart at. Give me a dart on. Jesus, look at this! Look at this roster of players.
It ain't that damn hard, Jason.
Give me Max Homa.
Max Homa. Okay, you took an American.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take Michael Thorbjornsson.
Yeah, he had a great tournament last week.
He's an American, by the way.
You're damn right he is. I love it. Okay. I don't know why I keep picking this guy. He's never going to win on tour, but give me Young. I'll take him.
Cameron Young or Carson?
Yeah. No, Cameron Young.
All right. My last pick is going to be Luke Clinton.
Okay, I got one more. You've got Luke Clinton. I was thinking about him, but I think this guy could actually win this tournament. So I'm going to look at his number for top 5, top 10, and winner on Hard Rock. And that would be Denny McCarthy.
Oh, yeah. He can roll the rock.
Yes, he can.
Okay. So to recap our Peachland Dental picks for the John Deere Classic, my squad of All-Americans on the 4th of July weekend: Ben Griffin, Jake Knapp, JT Poston, Michael Thorbjornsson,
okay,
and Luke Clanton. Corn Dog has Aldrich Potgieter, Jason Day, Max Homa, Cameron Young, and Denny McCarthy.
So after Potgieter got done in February, losing in heartbreaking fashion at the Mexico Open in extra holes, after Brian Campbell hit it in the tree and should have gone OB, Potgieter missed the next 4 cuts, and then he missed 7 of 8 before he was tied for 6th at the Charles Schwab Challenge last month, and he won last week. So he's got his tour card.
If he makes the cut, he's in contention.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
He's going to destroy that course in terms of driving distance, as we all know. So will Jake Knapp, and so will just about all these guys. This course is easy. The rough is not bad. It's there for the taking. It always is year after year. But for some reason, I like watching it. I don't know. This is one of those that I don't mind watching because I don't know, the nostalgia of the John Deere Classic. Think about that. It's like the old Western Open or the Greater Hartford Open or some of these old terms, the Greater Greensboro Open. Yeah. The corporate sponsorships have really kind of gotten involved in changing the appearance or the complexity of these, or the texture of these golf tournaments, if that makes any sense. And I think it's cool that we have the John Deere Classic still.
You're dang right.
In that one.
Mark says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Guys, don't let up on bringing back Gator bait. It was our most intimidating chant on defense.
Well, I think, QB, if we keep talking about it, maybe somebody will say something about it. But I think until this fake president finally leaves the University of Florida, who's been sitting in.
I just think the damn band needs to just play it.
Well, I think the band does, but then they got to deal with Kent.
Well, they moved back, you suck.
They did.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
at least they've played it a couple of games. I know that for a fact.
I just don't understand the deal. I just don't understand why we have
bigger fish to fry than worry about silly stuff like that.
But the silly stuff like that just it's manufactured and brought up for no reason whatsoever. And Gator bait is Florida football. That's what it is. When those teams run out of the tunnel, every single game the old man took me to, we screamed Gator bait. The Tigers of the Auburn University, and we were screaming Gator bait for 5 minutes. It was great, and now they do it with we should still do it with the band. I don't know, dude.
Maybe we should have the band director on the program.
I mean, you got his number? Call him.
I do. I couldn't tell you who the damn band director is.
I love the Gator band. The pride of the sunshine, huh?
Yeah, like I have the band director's number right here on speed dial.
I'm still waiting on you to do Mr. Two Bits. I think
that ain't happening.
What do you got to get paid to do it, QB?
Oh,
what's your number? Everybody's got a number.
Everybody's got a number. Isn't that what everybody says?
Everybody's got a number.
All right, JC.
QB, I miss when are we gonna get Mike Morgan back on the air?
He comes back in August.
Okay. Yeah, I knew that. I just said it to see what you would say.
Well, I told you the truth.
Yeah, no.
He's on vacation till then.
Yeah, he's one of my favorites. All right, well, when are you going to get Frank back on here? Frank, waiting on him.
When it gets closer to Jaguars kicking off.
Okay. Jaguars, they're a good. They got some pretty good odds to win the South. I don't think they will, but the odds are there. They still can't play any defense. Hopefully, they'll score some points this year, though. That'll be a little more exciting. We'll see.
JC, what are you going to do for the 4th? Are you going to shoot?
Yeah, we're going to go celebrate in the rain because here we are in Southeast Asia, and we're going to celebrate in the rain on the beach. I'm going to literally put up a tent as long as there's no lightning. If it's just showers, I'm going to put up a tent and drink White Claws under a tent in the rain on the beach. Or sit in someone else's condo and play dice games, card games, and drink more White Claws, and just try to have a good celebration of the 4th of July. Maybe light some of those sparklers that we used to do when we were 5 years old and wave them around like this. I mean, QB, that's what we do at the beach. I don't know what that's going to mean for the fireworks show. All the young kids like fireworks. I'm not a fireworks guy, never have been. They all look the same to me. But kids love them, and females love fireworks. It's just like, oh my God, look at the fireworks. So I got excited about fireworks when I used to go to Gator Growl in the '70s, and they had real fireworks shows at Florida Field. I mean, those things were loud. You were thinking you were being bombed. It was so loud. But I don't think you can do these fireworks in downpour. So we'll see what happens. But this weather is just. This July weather in August is just the worst time of year for me. I can't take it. It interferes with our golf game, QB, and now it's going to interfere with our fireworks show at the beach. So we're not.
We got a lot of people here that have chimed in with the who's the director of the Fighting Gator marching band.
Get him on.
Maybe I'll contact him.
Get him on here. You don't think he'll take Shane Mathews' call, the Hall of Famer, never lost to Georgia, never lost a home game? You don't think he would take your call, QB?
Well, he might have been around back then.
You know what? He probably doesn't
even know. He could be a new guy.
He probably doesn't even know if he's in college. He's probably never even heard of Shane Mathews.
Exactly.
He doesn't have a clue who that guy is. Who is Shane Mathews?
We got a text here on the Titan Mar text line from Jimmy. He wants to know, JC, are you putting any money on the hot dog eating contest?
No, Joey's going to win it again, by the way.
I thought he got kicked off that thing.
I think he's back. He's back. It's not a real hot dog eating contest unless you have the greatest of all time doing it. He is the greatest of all time, but it's really kind of makes me nauseous to watch. I can't watch it because I can't imagine what that would do to your digestive system or your body in general. So, I mean, I'm good for maybe one hot dog every 90 days. That's all I can handle. My digestive system can't handle hot dogs, QB. It's just not good. Fat. It's just, oh God. But once in a while, I'll power one down.
I can't remember the last time I had a hot dog.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Think about it. It's not in your health sphere. Okay. It just doesn't. As we age, those kinds of things go away. When I played baseball at the Northwest Boys Club when I was 10 years old, I ate 3 hot dogs in between games. But those days are way over, QB. They used to have baseball at the Northwest Boys Club too, by the way. It was a baseball facility before it was ever a football real complex. But
yeah, we got a lot of people on here that obviously know who Jay Watkins is because they're saying he's a great guy.
Get on it. Jay Watkins. Get on
Blind
it.
Squirrel wants to know on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says, would be interesting to hear how much work the band members put into preparing for game days in the fall. Well, they have their own damn practice field.
Yeah, and I think it's great what they do. I mean, college.
There's nothing better than the bands from the colleges on game day.
It's so true. And I love the opposing bands just as much.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just all of them.
All of them. And you know, if you broke it down by conference, to me, the Big Ten has the most interesting bands. And
they do a lot of. It's
amazing what they do.
Stuff.
The most boring band.
I don't think they have the songs that the Southeastern Conference has.
Well, their fight song, "Hail to the Victors."
Right. Okay. So you got Ohio State and Michigan, but other than that, but what I'm saying is we have other things that the bands play. Yeah. You got Rocky Top.
Glory, glory,
doesn't
hallelujah.
play Dixieland Delight. That comes over the PA system.
Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Which is a good one.
You know, the Tigers.
Auburn and Georgia play that, you know.
Yeah, Auburn copied Georgia. And then the LSU, the LSU band with all their beautiful stuff. And I think, honestly, I hate saying this, but my alma mater might have the most boring band in the SEC.
I like y'all's fight song, though.
Oh, no, the fight song's classic. But the $1 Million Band, the joke on campus back in the day at Alabama was they were the $1.49. And they just stand there. They just stand there. B-A-M-A, roll tide, go Bama. And it's just it just doesn't really get my juices flowing.
Yeah, most of y'all's other stuff, all the good stuff at your ballpark comes from the PA system.
That's pretty true. But dotting the I, watching the University of Michigan's band, watching the Ohio State band, the best damn band in the land, watching the guy, the drum major for Wisconsin go like this, the high stepping thing with the baton. What are those called? What are those guys called, QB? The ones that high step with the baton and stick their legs up like this as they go across the field.
They're drum majors.
With a big hat, yes, the drum major. Thank you. The big drum at Purdue that's the size of my backyard. It's just, and I the Marching Chiefs. I mean, FLORIDASTATE. Woo! And then Farce. So, the bands are great, man. I'm a band guy. I'll root for the guys that beat the drums and blow the horns all the time. I love the band.
We're going to talk to somebody that
I think you got to get them on here.
Well, we'll talk to him. We're going to talk to David Waters about football.
Get David Waters on here. Let's hear some football talk. All right.
That's JC. Join us on the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Quick timeout. Come back. We'll have David Waters from Gators Breakdown. You're watching, listening, PodUp with Mathews in the morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union,
International Diamond Center,
Meldon Law, QC Kinetics, UF Health Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute, JF Hayden Craft Liqueurs, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Los Linderos Tequila. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sporting Goods, Cogent Bank, Comfort Temp, Electronics World, Florida Victorious, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteak, Celebrate Primary Care, Dowling Sign, Gator Bait Media, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Nest and Wow, MG and A, Wealth Management. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the podcast whenever on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. To become a sponsor, call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Oh, all the way from the North Pole. It's me, Santa Claus. Oh, I'm here with my friend Steve Spurrier for an amazing Christmas in July offer.
Spurrier's Gridiron gift cards are on sale for 20% off.
Coach, how do they get them?
You can go to spurriers.com and order a digital card or stop by my restaurant in Celebration Point and pick some up today.
Thanks for being my holiday helper in July, Coach. Hurry, this special Christmas in July offer is for this month only. Ho, ho, ho.
Welcome back to the International Diamond Center Studios. Rudes Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com. Give them a call, 352-240-1779. Back to the Titan Number Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Tent. We're joined by David Waters from Gators Breakdown. Good morning, David. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing well, doing well. As you and I were kind of talking beforehand, it's kind of the dog days of summer right now. So just kind of trying to enjoy time with the family. I guess that's the main thing right now.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Obviously, you're hoping no kids commit here because I know you do a little breakdown of whoever commits. Hopefully, nobody commits on July 4th. But let's go. Let's talk about it. A lot of people have texted me on our Titan MR text line, upset over the preseason. DJ Lagway was like fourth on the fourth team in the SEC. Just your thoughts on the guys that were on those different first, second, third, fourth teams.
Yeah, but I guess without seeing a specific list, I would assume Arch Manning, Garrett Nussmeier, Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. That probably has to be the, I think, only group that you could put ahead of DJ Lagway right now. Hey, look. No problem if you really want to peg him behind Manning and Nussmeier. Manning, of course, the name and a little bit of playing experience, but DJ probably a bit more than him and in the bigger games. So, yeah, that was tough. Nussmeier, just with all the stats that he put up last year at LSU, if you want to put him first, it's because he started a whole season. He's returning with a whole bunch of wide receiver talent at LSU. That's fine. I do think Lagway probably has to be in that top 3 tier. He can't. Lenore Sellers at South Carolina is an interesting case, and him and Lagway do a lot of the similar things, can make things happen out of nowhere. I think that's the thing that they're able to do. If a play breaks down, they're able to do the things that a lot of other quarterbacks can't do with their big body, their size, their arm strength. But maybe just a little bit of bias. I think Lagway's a little better than Lenore Sellers. I think will be projected to be better than Lenore Sellers. But Sellers can do some amazing, wild things at the same time. So it's going to be interesting to see it play out. You get Garrett Nussmeier early in the season when Florida travels to Baton Rouge, and I mentioned there's a lot of new pieces with LSU as well. They're in that little middle ground where they bring some guys back. They've recruited pretty well, but they've hit the transfer portal heavy at the same time. So how fast does it all come together? They go to Clemson week 1, they play Florida 2 weeks later. If they somehow lose both those games, Brian Kelly, that's going to ramp up. And Garrett Nussmeier is a big reason that. So maybe he carries that offense till everything gels around him. I think he can have that capability. I know my cohort, Will Miles, you've had him on pretty recently. He is not a Garrett Nussmeier fan at all.
He's not. I think Garrett's pretty good, though, personally.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, can he be better in the deep ball range? Yeah, so can a lot of quarterbacks. But I give him a little more credit than Will does. But he'd probably would be where I would go as number 1 quarterback in the SEC, given all the stats coming in. But Lagway not far behind.
Yeah. Lenore Sellers, to me, is Anthony Richardson 2.0. I mean, they're huge. They can make plays with their legs, with their arm, but they'll miss the guy wide open in the flat. Just Feast or famine, kind of. Andy's question for you, David, on the Facebook Live brought to you by Mellon Law. What did you think of Paul Feinbaum's comments yesterday that Arch Manning is the best college QB since Tim Tebow?
I didn't get to listen to the whole interview, but just that statement, have we really seen enough to say that? Like,
No.
is that coming in from high school to college? Is it what we've seen so far? Because if it's what we've seen so far, we haven't seen anything to say that for what he's shown at Texas so far. So, okay, if you want to go, but it's still even from the high school to college transition, I don't think he's the best since Tim Tebow. Like I said, maybe I got to go back and listen to the whole interview. I didn't get the full context of what Feinbaum was trying to say, but just that context in and of itself, I think is kind of odd. But Feinbaum's a headline creator, and I think we know some of the angle there for when he makes a statement like that. But I did think it was kind of outlandish.
Yeah. Jackson on the Titan MR text line wants to know, what are your concerns for the Gator offense this year and the defense? If you have any concerns, you may not have any concerns.
I do. Slight concerns on offense. I think it's the offensive line taking another step and being better in pass protection. I do think in Billy Napier's offense, there's like a baseline for what they'll do in the run game, and they'll be pretty good at that. They're just going to be pretty good at that. But I do think they need to take another step in pass protection. You go back to the end of last year, Ole Miss, LSU, even Florida State was getting a ton of pressure on Lagway, but he was able to escape it. He was able to make some plays. If the offensive line, I think, can take another step to where he doesn't have to make so many wild plays, shake defenders off, and then make a throw, I think that can help the offense in general. Maybe some wide receiver, but I think wide receiver gets figured out. I just think there's too much talent there for it not to get figured out. And maybe the same way with offensive line in the pass blocking. That would be my biggest concern going into the season. On defense, I know a lot of people will go secondary, and I probably would too, Shane. But just to go a little different direction, I think depth behind Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks, and those guys I think can carry and do a whole lot for this defense. That good, they'll carry a first line of that defense pretty good. But behind them, Florida needs a lot of guys to step up in important situations. Does LJ McCray finally break through? What can we expect from the return of Jamari Lyons? Does a young Makai Burrow step up to help out behind Caleb Banks? So that would be, their guys, Sapp and Banks aren't going to play every snap. So they need some guys behind them to really show up in SEC play. So I think my biggest thing would get some depth up front. Besides, just going the normal route, the secondary's got to play better. I think going up front, and it got to get deeper and some more playmakers proven up front.
Yeah, the LJ McCray is kind of a unique deal because so highly recruited coming in. And Florida hasn't had that one guy, and I talk about this all the time, the one guy that from an offensive standpoint, you got to say, okay, we cannot let that guy beat us. We have to block him. And I don't know if Florida has that guy. We haven't had it in a long time since Grenard, basically.
Grenard, and before him, Dante Fowler, maybe?
Right. Those two guys. That's exactly the two that come to mind. I'm hoping LJ McCray in year two is that guy. We shall see. But I'm with you on that. We have another text here from William on the Titan MR text line. He wants to know, Dave, do you have any concerns with DJ's shoulder?
Asking around, I think he's fine, Shane. The concern is we just got to see it. I mean, that's really what. Until we see it, there's going to be concern. Now, apparently, he started throwing late May, early June, and Billy Napier said at SEC spring meetings that he would be doing the same as it. If he was 100% healthy in the spring, he'd be doing the same things now that he'd always be doing. So, okay, we'll take him for his word there. But until it won't even matter until we see the first game. Like, we can see all the fall camp videos, and look, you'll have a lot more access, and you'll be there at practice, so you'll be able to see it and maybe share some info there. But for the general public, it's going to be fall camp videos. Okay, well, those only go so far as well. We're going to have to wait till Long Island, and DJ goes out there and throws hopefully no more than 15 times because he's going to be playing a lot in that game anyway. Yeah. But it's gonna be until game one, and then maybe till we face a formidable opponent and he gets knocked around a little bit and that he can sustain hits as well. So I think fine going into the season, but we do have to see it with our own eyes.
When you look at the schedule, everybody talks about how difficult it is. I personally don't think it's as hard as last year's, I think a lot of the teams that we're playing have different quarterbacks, and it is what it is. I'd rather be playing that schedule than playing a bunch of Long Islands.
Me
When you
too.
look at this
I'm
schedule,
glad you're on the same page with me on that one.
yeah, I mean, people can bitch and complain all they want, but embrace it and go play it. It's going to be fun. Um, Obviously, from the LSU, Texas A&M, Miami stretch, that's going to be difficult, but should be
Yeah.
fun. Just your thoughts on the schedule.
I tend to agree with you, especially because of the quarterbacks. But if you just go through the teams, LSU maybe the same, slightly better. Okay, Miami, I don't think they're as good as last year. Texas probably maybe the same, maybe a bit worse. Yeah, I think, but that's a team that's weird to figure out as far as comparing them to last year's team. A&M's a wild card as well. I don't know how good they can be. I don't know how bad they can be. Georgia, Shane, I think when you look at it, you go and you talk about Georgia too. I think a lot of the schedule. Georgia and Texas to me are the only two schools that are head and shoulders clearly better in Florida. But even that gap has shrunk to where I think Florida can be competitive against those teams. Everybody else, it's toss-ups. I get it. Some going to Baton Rouge is tough, but that's early in the season. As I say, LSU's got a lot of new pieces. I think given Florida and their rise up a bit, and other teams and what they're facing and everything that goes around in college football these days, I do think the gap has shrunk a bit from the elite teams, from the top teams. And Florida's just got to go out and prove that they can play with those teams now. So I do agree with you, partly because Florida's better, but I do think the teams, because of quarterbacks and just in general, have kind of fallen back a little bit. And it should set up for Florida to me, do some things if, everything on the side. I think the players are there. I don't think it's Georgia, Texas level talent, Ohio State level talent. But I do think it's better with all the experience that comes back. So it's going to be, those game day decisions, those crucial play calls, clutch moments by players. I like the talent, but they got to step up in clutch moments as well. So it's just those critical moments against this schedule that are really going to come out, because there's going to be a lot of close games. Yeah. We know that. So you gotta hit those critical moments.
Yeah. Gallo Car Wash, locally owned by UF alum, and the only car wash that provides NIL opportunities to Gator athletes. Become a member and see why Gators hate love bugs. A few more minutes with David Waters from Gators Breakdown. Talking a little Gators here. Somebody here on YouTube where is it? K Brown on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plum, says it was reported last night on On3 website that DJ's not 100% still. It is still concerning. I don't think he's going to be 100%. I think, look, I say this all the time. Hardly anybody that plays football is ever 100%. Your body is always hurting at some point. It's just, what can you do? I think he will play the entire season unless something else happens, but I don't think that shoulder will be 100%. That's just my personal opinion. Who do you like in the SEC? Today, what is today? July 3rd or July 2nd? Who do you think wins the conference?
I'm going to go Texas still. And I think I'm going because of that defense. I mean, that front line on that defense up front, they can play. I think they saw that, and we see it recruiting now. Like they are hitting defensive line hard, and I think Sark's kind of knew that, being at Alabama for so long, but making the transition from the Big 12 to the SEC, they were able to figure out defense. I do have questions about Arch and if he can elevate better in offense better than Quinn Ewers. I would think. I thought Quinn Ewers was kind of hit too hard a bit. I thought he was an okay quarterback, but a lot of people thought he was awful last year. And maybe around that talent, he should have been better. They had really good receivers too. But I think this is the talent they've assembled, and they get schedule break too. I mean, their schedule is a lot easier than the Georgias of the world, Florida's, LSU. I think they catch a schedule break as well. So I'll go Texas. I mean, I don't want to be boring and say it's Texas, Georgia again in Atlanta, but that's the way it looks. So maybe Florida upsets the apple cart and is fighting for that spot there. But I probably have to be boring and goes and say Texas right now.
Thomas on the Titan Mark text line wants to know, in your opinion, how many games does Billy need to win this year?
To save his job or just genuinely.
I mean, I think people now think it's like a year-to-year deal. I don't know if it's the case.
they want to hang on to him. So I think he's safe with 7. I know the fan base ain't gonna like that, but they don't want to fire him, and it's gonna be a blaze. But I think he stays with 7.
Yeah, I think it's important for us this year because I do think this is clearly the best roster he's
Yeah,
had from a talent standpoint. And with DJ coming back, there's high expectations. I think it's important for us late October to be in the talk of
correct.
the playoffs.
I agree.
And then, you may or may not make it, but I just think that's imperative this year for that to happen.
Yeah, going into Georgia. I mean, Georgia's first game in November. That game
Yeah,
needs to have that big game. All right, we're fighting for a playoff spot. Now, granted, there's a lot of playoff spots out there, but all right, maybe going into that game, it's hey, the winner of this has the upper leg with Texas going into November. That I think Florida Georgia needs to have that importance on it when we get to that game.
I agree. Are you in favor of the going to 9 SEC games?
I am kind of going back to your previous conversation of having a bunch of good games.
Yeah.
That's one reason I want it. If you expand the playoff, I think it makes sense. I want to play Auburn more. I want to see Florida play Auburn more. I missed that game. It would help. You add Texas, Oklahoma, so I think it needs to be done to have a pretty nice rotation of playing your conference opponents.
I'm going to ask you this question that we brought up on the program about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Who has more pressure on them as a head coach in the conference?
Ooh.
Brian Kelly, Hugh Freeze, Billy Napier, or Kalen DeBoer?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't think it's Napier. I think he got some leash last year. Boy, that is a good one. You could say DeBoer just because Bama puts the pressure on you.
Right. I mean, they can't. What did they lose last year? 3, 4
3.
games?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't
Well,
lose
I think
you can't lose to Vanderbilt and those type of
Yeah.
schools.
Fourth, 9-3 regular season, I believe. And lost in the Michigan in the bowl game. But I mean, Bama puts that pressure. But I think in general, I think it's Brian Kelly. I just LSU expects more. They bought into this year, kind of like Florida did. Florida, that was a different path. Florida said, all right, we're going to buy in and retain. LSU's was, we're going to buy in and go hit the transfer portal. So they're trying to set up everything for a run this year as well. And, they've fallen off from the early Brian Kelly years at LSU where he had him in the SEC championship game. He had a Heisman Trophy winner there with Jaden Daniels. And, they've gotten worse every year. So I think if that continues and it's another linear step to where it's a year worse than the previous year, especially like I said, you got Clemson and Florida to start. You start off 1-2. That pressure is really going them out for Brian Kelly. So, but yeah, Hugh Freeze, I see that one as well. Auburn people aren't happy, especially recruiting right now. They're kind of very similar to Florida a year ago. I think they need a proof of performance on the field before they see an uptick in recruiting. But I'll go Brian Kelly and LSU.
Yeah, I would agree with that because Clemson's supposed to be very good this year. LSU has been losing that opener, 5 or 6 straight years?
Yeah, I think it's 5 years now. They've lost FSU twice, USC inexplicable last year. So yeah.
This is a text from Jimmy. He wants to know, do you like our committed class for next year?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, I like the top of the class with CJ Brona, the track superstar there at corner. I think he fits very well. I love what they've done at receiver. Marquez Daniel, that big body type from the state of Alabama. Justin Williams from there in Gainesville, kind of utility wide receiver. They got their 5 offensive linemen already. I mean, it may not be the level a lot of people like, but they clearly identified. They got 5 guys right now. They're happy. They are targeted 5. They got 5. I mean, I talked about this last night on the podcast that the only thing that really sticks out about this class right now is the lack of interior defensive linemen. They've lost some guys to Georgia. They've lost some guys to Texas. Kendall Guerville commits today. Hopefully that's good. That's toward for the Gators right there. Probably about to lose J.J. Perez to Ohio State. He's making a statement on Friday, I believe. So it's very important to get Guerville today for the interior defensive line. That's the biggest worry right now. But overall, yeah, I like the pieces they're putting together for this class.
Before we get you out of here, Andy on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel says, how big of a contributor do you think Cormani McClain will be this year?
Yeah, he has to be a big contributor. Devin Moore's got to stay healthy at corner for the first time in his career, but he needs to do it. Dijon Johnson, we'll see with his off-field issues there. I mean, he's still part of the team. Maybe there's a early season suspension or something like that he has to go about. So maybe McClain starts the season as that cornerback too, but he's going to play a lot either way. We've seen all the offseason pictures. He looks bigger, he looks faster, he looks stronger. That goes for a lot of guys, so we're going to have to wait and see when they get on the field. But it's about time, in year 3 to live up to that 5-star billing that he was. I think he's doing the right things off the field that the staff has asked him to do. So I expect a heavy contribution year from Cormani McClain.
All right, last thing here, text on the Titan More text line from Todd. He wants to know, David, I want your prediction on the Gators' record this year.
I haven't officially given it yet.
Okay, well, don't wait. Don't give it then.
Okay. I'm hovering around 9-3. I can see 8-4. I see 8-4 more likely than 10-2.
You think 9-3 will get you in the playoffs this year?
It didn't last year for the SEC teams.
Right.
That's the dangerous thing. But as I said, I think
it depends on who those 3 losses are to.
How you lose them.
Yeah.
And the rest of the teams around you. I do think there's a lot more parity this year. Like I said, I don't think there's the team to beat in college football this year. I do think the gap has shrunk a bit. And look, Florida's schedule's tougher than any of those SEC teams last year that had those 3 losses. So I think that might go into it as well.
Very true. David, let everybody know how they can follow your Gators Breakdown podcast and follow you on Twitter and all that good stuff.
Yeah, at @GatorDave_SEC on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it. Of course, YouTube, you can find Gators Breakdown on every podcast platform out there as well. So just kind of recruiting right now. That's the name of the game. But we're looking at preseason magazines, all that good stuff to get the pure football talk in it as well.
Now, your show's not every night, correct?
It's not. No.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
During the season, it almost is, but yeah. I try to dial it back a little bit. So.
Good stuff, my friend. Appreciate it. Have a great few more weeks in the off season, and it cranks up. Appreciate your time, Dave.
For sure. Thanks, Shane.
Yep. He does a tremendous job on Gators Breakdown. Make sure you go check him out. Florida victorious, proud NL partner of the Florida Gators, joined today to help make Florida victorious. Want to thank David Waters and JC for joining the program today. Have a great day, folks. We'll see you tomorrow.